Hey, what's up? The Fractured Rooster back here in the shop with the new shop fridge. We've got plenty of room for, well, I have some room for some adult beverages. We're back here on the Ranger today. It's on jack stands, you might see. On the maiden voyage, I noticed there was some wobble in the steering wheel, and I took a look at the tires and found out that although they looked brand new, they were definitely 10 plus years old. So I jumped, oh yeah, you can see the cracks there very well. Look at that, they were coming apart. They were basically rectangles or trapezoids or something, that they weren't round. So I jumped online and found just some really cheap light truck tires. These ought to be better than, even though they've got way less tread, they got a much stiffer sidewall and ought to give us a lot more miles than what we're going to get out of the old ones. But here she is now in her current state, up on jack stands in the driveway. So it's been raining the last couple of days here, and I came out the first day it rained to find the floorboards were absolutely soaked. From each of the top corners of the windshield, water was just kind of dripping down the A-pillars and hitting the floor right about where that hole is. To be honest with you, this whole area was wet, and with the jute or the sound deadening on the back of the rubber floor mat was just wicking it up all over the floor. You can see there are rust holes absolutely everywhere. Boy, am I glad I looked under there. I thought she was a runner and driver. I didn't find out that the floor was soft until I hit the car wash. And as I was vacuuming it out, I noticed there were spots in the floor that the vacuum cleaner, it wasn't creating a suction in certain spots, and I pulled the floor mat back to find ginormous holes. But not to worry, I've got a fix for that too. And I know what you're thinking. Man, it sounds like you're spending more money on parts than you did on the original pickup, and you're not wrong. As we know, I'm into the Ranger for $500 on the initial investment, and by my rough math, I'm guessing I've spent about $500 in parts since then. $100 for the fuel pump, $100 for the tank, about $50 for the tune-up, and then the rest is sitting right here on the floor. So I called up LKQ and they sent over some parts. First was some fresh red carpet with like a floor grommet of some sort. That'll replace the rubber floor mat. That'll be a nice little upgrade. Next, is floor pans to fix what I found at the car wash. This looks like a passenger side. There's a driver side already epoxy coated, ready to install. Since I've never done floor pans before, or really any metal work for that matter, called up a friend of mine and he said if I buy the beer and the burgers, he'll come over this weekend and help me stitch all this in here. So well, the new tires are on, and man, that really changed the look of the truck. Now she looks like she's ready to do some work. Good morning, YouTube. We're back out here in the shop today working on the $500 Ranger. You can probably hear it in the background. There she goes. She idled down a little bit. A little cold start action, but you can hear that rattle, I'm sure. That's what we're going to tackle today. The post office dropped off some parts that we needed, and I'm going to get the truck in here and get the show on the road. I guess I'll open up the package. You know, I've had a couple of these Rangers, and I'm sorry to say, this is the de facto muffler for the 2.3 Ford Ranger. They sound great. I don't know what it is about these things, but a really long glass back. A nice blow-through muffler. Not that you're going to get a lot of performance out of that, but it's just a tube with a bunch of perforations and some fiberglass wound around those perforations, just to cut down on the drone basically. But that motor doesn't put out a whole lot of noise, so there's not really a whole lot you need a muffler for, to be honest with you. But we'll get it back in here. I'm going to pull that bed off again just to make it a little easier. Ew. The bed is off again. That's, I don't know, 5-minute job on these old pickups. And you can see here why the muffler's got to go. I don't know what the heck is going on with this thing, but it's pointed very uphill. I guess it probably rotated at some point. Maybe the outlet was supposed to be, you know, the up end, but nothing good is coming out of that. So I've got a new muffler. Of course, the removal tool of choice is an old cordless Sawzall. Choice of catalytic converter thieves, country or worldwide. Tailpipe removed. We didn't even have to use a saw on that one. Well, that's a first. Just make sure I measured correctly. Put a 31-inch muffler in here, and that's going to be perfect. Well, I'll call that a successful dry fit. I mean, not a whole lot to it. Got about a 1/4 inch of clearance there, and about a 1/4 inch of clearance here, so I had to kind of split the difference there. But tailpipe points down, so it'll drain properly. I guess all that's left is to give it a test fire. I'm sure you heard a little bit of whistling there. Nothing's clamped or welded or anything. So, but that is it. Gave the little 2-3 a little bit of growl. Got rid of that soup can sound for a $21 glass pack. And heck, I might even send the tailpipe back. This one looks to be in far better condition than I thought. But the tailpipe was only $25, and I think the tailpipe was $25 and the glass pack was $21. So this would have been a $43. This would have been a $46 exhaust system, and I think we got it sold for what, just a little over 20 bucks. So I call that a win. That shouldn't touch anything when it vibrates. Cool. I'm gonna grab the welder and make this permanent. You can probably hear in the background, and now you can see my friend Ryan from Blue Collar Collision came by, throw a windshield in that Ford Ranger, since we established that's the source of the leaks. Bonus item, once he gets that windshield out, we'll get pretty clear access to the dash, and we can throw some speakers on that dash a lot easier than you can having a windshield in place. So 2 birds with 1 stone here. Being a cheap truck, I went with some cheap speakers, some Boss 5 1/4s, but Amazon said these will drop right in place. They were actually recommended. We'll see how much trimming we're going to have to do, but they're a 3-way, just a really cheap, nice cheap woofer. Being that head unit only puts out about 30 watts a channel, I didn't want to have to amp the things. Well, that looks a lot different.
Yes.
They're just glued in place, huh?
I think your leak point's right here.
Ah. So it might not have been a windshield, maybe it was a seam?
Seam, yep. Seam, that's what I think, because your fence wells look pretty clean.
Yeah. Is this seam sealer that's up in that corner, or is that something that somebody else added?
Oh, that seam sealer.
Oh, it's certainly pulled away.
Oh yeah.
Huh. Will you be able to put some...
We'll get it all cleaned up.
Windshield goo in there?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Let's get these off. Get them speakers installed. All right, we got our Boss 5 1/4s installed here. Ryan's Putting some sealer on the glass, or putting some sealer on the windshield. Well, the Ranger windshield is in and taped up. What, 24 hours? Tape can come off, or?
12.
12 hours?
Yeah.
All right.
Be good to go.
Cool, cool. Well, it looks great. We got the new speakers in, and those sound so good with the windshield in there. Well, I don't know if they sound so good. They sound
better. They sound amazing.
But thanks again, Ryan,
No
for
problem.
like your hour. That was quick. You came to me. What, blue collar?
Blue collar collision and glass.
Collision. I'll put a link down there to his Facebook. If you need a windshield in the Wichita area,
Yep.
give Ryan a call. Good morning, YouTube. It is day 4 of the Ranger build. And today we're going to tackle, I think, one of the last things on the list. If you're wondering how I'm getting this sweet camera angle, let me show you here. A little cinematic trick. That was shot through the hole that we discovered in the floorboard of this thing. To remedy this, I called a local company, LMC Truck, out of Kansas City, Kansas, and we ordered floor pans. I honestly didn't want to go this deep in the truck, as you can imagine. This is definitely an unforeseen problem, but these pans are like $39 a piece. And I wasn't about to scrap the truck over, $80 worth of floor pans. I've got a welder, I've got a grinder, and I've got the ambition to see this truck on the road, so we're gonna press on with it. Well, that's a pretty dang good fit. All right. Well, I'll break out the Sharpie, trace around this, and then break out the cutoff wheels and the body saws, and turn this into a Fred Flintstone edition Ford Ranger. Hey, look at that. We have all the metal removed from the body mount. I even ground down most of the rivets. I didn't drill them out, which probably would have been easier. But my $3 Harbor Freight rivet drilling tool was a complete waste of time, so I decided just to grind down the metal, thin in those spots, and use a hammer and a chisel. I got underneath that metal and just went old school, rolled it away. Peeled it right off without any issue. Just smashed my thumb a couple times. Cool. So that's how it's going to lay. There's some areas here that there's still a big rust hole here on this A-pillar. Is it a concern? No, not really structurally. Is there going to be carpet over it? Yeah. Is there a whole kick panel here, a plastic one that covers all that up? Yep. Am I going to fix it? I'm not sure yet. I mean, is it hypercritical that all these are perfect? No, not on a $500 truck. I mean, so I'm just gonna figure out why this panel's high here. If I can get that to sit a little better, I will. And we'll move on to the other side. We sanded off all the paint and all the sound deadener, and it is ready for a floor pan. We've got some 3M panel adhesive here. Ryan's got the big gun.
Oh yeah.
The air power. Dang. It's like a bazooka.
It is.
Cool. So we prepped the back of the panels, just rubbed off all that epoxy primer. And we're gonna do a little acid wash and then apply the glue and stick them down, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, let's get after it. It's like Cheese Whiz.
Like a glove.
Naked glove. All right, so we're just gonna throw some self-tappers in it to kind of pull those panels together, let it sit overnight, and tomorrow I'll pull out those self-tappers and
Probably put the seat bolt in too, just to pull up to it.
no, yeah, be good. And look at that, all in one day. Floors replaced, both of them left and right. We got all of the rot out of here. Now it's ready for the new carpet. Ryan, thanks for your work, buddy.
No problem. Anytime.
But that's all for today. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you on the next video.